Every chateau has its story, and mine started with a place almost ready, a holiday home waiting to become something deeper. When I found this chateau, it wasn't a ruin, but it needed someone to truly live in it. Bit by bit, I've made it my own, navigating the ups and downs of renovation and life itself. Beyond these walls, I'm a dancer, a choreographer, a creative soul bringing that same passion into every corner of this home. Join me as we dive into how it all began, not just a renovation story, but a journey of finding home and self along the way. My chateau renovation journey part 3. Here we go. So I thought we'd sit down and go through some questions that I derived from you guys' comments, from the general keyword search, from anything that I could think of to reflect this past and also the future and the now of chateau renovation, of living in rural France, of just daily life here and how it is to do certain things and what you can expect, what you can't expect. So I think we'll just do a bit of a summary and a conclusion in this video. I have a few notes that I will need because it's just such a humongous topic. So I've put this into 4 categories, which is personal journey and reflections, challenges and lessons learned, advice for future chateau owners, and looking forward. So we'll go through them chronologically, and each of these have 3 questions. What surprised you the most about living and renovating a chateau? It was the sheer undertaking of a huge building, which isn't even like that huge considering the size of my half of a medieval chateau. It's a small chateau to begin with. Just the sheer size of it and doing it alone, I think that was the part that really threw me off in the beginning, and that I really had to process through it, that I was responsible for all of this on my own and I didn't have anyone else. I think I started off in this journey with my ex-husband, and absolutely it was my decision or our mutual decision to end our relationship. I think it wasn't part of the vision, or it wasn't what I envisioned from the get-go to think that's going to be it now, you know. I'm going to be alone on this, and this means I have to take care of everything on my own, like financially, mentally, and just physically, which was and is until this very day very demanding. And that's why I've figured out a system by now that sort of kept me alive. Especially now in the last few weeks, I've used Notion with to-do lists and things like this. So yeah, maybe we'll dive in one day about my Notion things and how I plan everything. But yeah, that is a big thing. How has the journey of renovation changed your perspective on home and life? Oh, well, I think it has changed my perspective completely on home and life. I did own an apartment with my ex-husband in Düsseldorf, and we were first-time buyers when we bought that apartment. And this was right before the pandemic hit, so in 2019, summer of 2019. But it was already renovated. My ex-husband was never a person that would have loved to do a lot of DIY. He was more, I think that's why we also chose this building, and in particular when looking in France, I was open to look for something more in a desolate state and not as livable, or like livable, but you would have to maybe go from one room by room and kind of like do your own thing and kind of gut the place. I think that's still my dream, to do that one day. I know I'm crazy. I think already just renovating something changed my perspective, and it also changes the perspective on how you're surrounded by things and how things really don't matter that much. I mean, we have attachment to things, and I'm a person that's not very attached to things from the get-go. But judging from that I curated our apartment in Düsseldorf, and the apartment had a lot of furniture that I had before in my apartments. Most of it was mine, or things that I was pushing for design decisions, also colors, all these things that we added into the overall look of it was really my inspirations and me, surely talking to my husband about it, but I would say I was the driving force for that. So getting into a space that was filled with stuff that I necessarily didn't like that much, and there's still a lot of furniture around me that I really don't like, that isn't my style or isn't my thing. I really like the contrast of modern and old and antique. When patterns and shapes clash a bit, because I like antique shapes. But for a sofa, for example, I would love to have something very modern, very like sleek, very almost organic looking, because I find that a lot of antique furniture is not as organic looking. It's very pretty, but it doesn't have this organic, maybe a bit of roundish shape, you know? So I really would like that. I would really like one big sofa here. And I mean, eventually I want to turn this into the kitchen and have my living room where my bedroom is right now. And none of the stuff is mine. Like, I think none of the glassware, basically everything was someone else's before that I'm using, except my clothes. But that changed a lot for me. That process is very, very slow of curating what I want, like the dining room table, the dining room chairs. Now I look at this and I'm just like so happy seeing it, because it just gives me life to know that I'm choosing my things, and to also just give myself the time and space to discover, okay, what do I want for this particular space? Because I think it's also a very space specific thing to choose furniture. Were there moments when you felt like giving up? How did you push through? Yes, absolutely. There were moments where I felt like I needed to give up and I really didn't want to. And I think it was the support of the community and the knowing that I felt at home here. And I still have those moments from time to time. What I used to say always, and what I still believe until now, you need one pretty space surrounding you. In this space, you can go into, cry, look around, and be happy. If the rest is crumbling and falling, it'll be fine if you have one happy space in the house. And that's why I was really pushing for renovating the bedroom, or making the bedroom, I mean, it's not really renovated, but making the bedroom pretty for myself, so that I could actually go into a very comfortable bed and sleep and be happy there. That's why I also wanted to transform my bathroom just to be pretty for now, even though I can't renovate it. But I can go in there and I know this is pretty and this is making me happy. And I think that's the moments that push you through. Plus your friends and family, absolutely. Without Alexi, I would have probably just been like a wreck. When I had my first breakdown last summer, I was like, I think if he wouldn't have come to like just take me in his arms, I think I don't know, I would have hyperventilated until death, I guess. So let's move on to the second bit of questions: challenges and lessons learned. What were the biggest challenges you didn't anticipate? In the very beginning, what I did not think was that any projects that you start and that you would say, oh, I'm just going to quickly do that, ends up as a 3-day to 7-day job. I have not anticipated that. I think I was I was wearing like pink colored glasses when it came to that. But oh well, we all do our mistakes. Is there a renovation or design choice you regret or would approach differently now? Absolutely. The bathrooms. I would absolutely do them completely different. I wouldn't use the ready-made showers because they were a pain to build. And also, if I would use them, I would probably build them up first and then build the walls around them, because with the walls, it was just absolutely horrible building them up. I don't have any video material of it, but I was like, every day I was thanking the universe that I went to ballet school, because I was flexible and tiny enough to fit in between like the tiniest holes to set it up, because it would not have been possible otherwise. So yeah, I would do the bathrooms differently nowadays. And also I would not have pushed to do 2 bathrooms at the same time. Would have done one and then eventually the other. but I had this really clear mind, and I'm a very like focused person. I can get hyper focused on a thing. So I think I really had this clear idea of I need to open this B&B because it's gonna make me money, and in the end it didn't, but oh well, you never know that before, right? How did you manage the financial strain of such a large project? That's a really good question. So I did have a lot of money saved up, I have to say. So there were two income streams that are until now supporting me and also have supported me. So I went into this renovation having already savings of about 20,000 euros, which I used to basically buy all the materials and things like this and live life, all of these different things, pay all my costs. And then also there is like a private, not really private pension that you have to have when you work in theater in Germany. And you can choose to continue paying that pension after you have left the theater, which I did when I was freelancing. So basically I had 7 years of fixed contract in the theater plus 6 years, 7 years, something like that. Yes, 7 years of freelancing that I paid. I think during theater, usually the theater pays half of it and you pay half of it. And then I think I continued paying 100 every month after that into this pension plan. But once you leave the country and you pursue something else, you can tell them that and you'll need to prove it. And once you've proved that, you can get all your pension paid out. And that's what I did. It was about another 20,000 euros that I got. That got me through this year and last year, sort of, also paying for costs and paying for all the things, plus all the money I earned from artistic projects, which you would think is not much, but is actually enough to survive. Absolutely. That's kind of a combination of how I was able to sustain that. I think would have been nice to have more. Absolutely. So my advice would be to really save up even more, or to get a loan for even more. I think to have a bit like a sum of like 100 to 200,000 euros just really gives you the opportunity to renovate without having to worry a lot. So if you're able to do that, then yeehaw. If not, I made it with 20,000. Advice for future chateau owners. What advice would you give to someone considering taking on a similar project? Do it! I'd say if it's what you want to do, you go ahead and do it. That's the kind of person I am. I think you should pursue whatever you think is right for you in that instance. And if it's what you want to do and if it's realistic, absolutely do it. Go for it. You'll learn along the way and you'll make mistakes, you'll be disappointed, you'll be worried, you'll be scared, you'll be all these things, but you'll also be tremendously happy. So just do it, live your life. That's really important. Are there must-have tools or resources you'd recommend for anyone starting out in renovations? Oh yes, absolutely. Get a big set of tools of what I use, Bosch. I really love their tools. They're amazing. They work very, very well, and you can get most of them battery powered. So that's what I really like. They're good quality tools. They have helped me so much. Like a big hammer drill. It will help you in the garden with stony grounds. It will help you in the house with stone walls and everything. You can use it in so many different ways than a grinder, like any kind of grinder, any kind of sander. You'll probably need multiple. And I think I have 2 here, but during renovations I had 3. Multiple electric drills. I think that's really good to have them and to just be able to switch between drilling and screwing and so that you don't have to interchange bit pieces or things. So like this, you'll be much faster. I'm telling you, it's absolutely worth the money. And I'll link the tools that I have used in the description box down below for you to check them out, because I really believe that these are really good tools, and you'll have a full list of them in the description box. How would you suggest balancing DIY with hiring help on a project this size? Ooh, that's an interesting question, because I think this size you can DIY. Absolutely. If you have a few people helping you from there and again to carry heavy stuff and to lift up heavy stuff, then you'll be able to do it by yourself. Absolutely. And if you have the expertise, or if you have a consultant that comes in and helps you, somebody who guides you, if you don't know that much, then it's absolutely manageable. Anything that's bigger than this, it's gonna be tricky, because you can't just be everywhere at once. I think you will need help. Absolutely. Or you'll just have to be okay that the progress will be very slow, which is also fine sometimes, you know? It doesn't, you know? And I think it depends also on the state of things. If you have to do a lot of demo and then redo a lot of things. I mean, some things you can't simply do in France alone. You can't redo your whole electrics. You'll need a certified electrician to do that, because otherwise your house insurance won't cover you if you do it yourself. With plumbing, I think it isn't that way. And with water, with electricity, it's definitely that way. Also, if you built in windows or doors, I think they'd also the insurances really prefer if someone else does it. I think that these are things I've also not done, because I think this is a very special expertise that I just don't have the capacity to do as of right now, and I don't want to do it. So I'm really happy and thankful to also find artisans, you know. It also depends a bit on if you want to find someone who's specialized in old buildings, like I did with the doors and the windows. This is someone who knows old substance as well, and who will make something that will fit into the house. So it's not like going to Leroy Merlin and buying plastic windows, you know, which I find, why would you do that if you have a historic home, you know? It just doesn't make sense in my world, but maybe it does for some others. But yeah, I think that's my general opinion on that. You can do a lot of DIY yourself, but for some things you will need someone to come out. There's a lot of electricians out there who will let you be their clerk, so it will be a bit less expensive, but they'll show you everything, then they'll let you do it a bit, then they'll come back and check what you did, and if it's okay, they will let you continue. They will always check on your work, so they will charge you much less money, but they will give you the certificate at the end, because they have checked everything and they have taught you everything. So like this, I think that's a good approach if you don't have that much money to spare. Looking forward. So with this 3-part series, we've touched up until 2023 and 24. It's pretty much well documented in the vlogs. So that's why I decided not to do another bit of renovations. So that's why I decided to do this talking video instead. What's next for the Château, and are there other rooms or areas you're excited to tackle? Absolutely. I have made this video where I asked you guys what I wanted to do and what I should be doing. And absolutely the barn is going to be the next thing. At least getting it to a point where I can already just like rehearse and dance and teach yoga, you know? Something, not a perfect renovation. I think this will have to go in stages as well. But to get it to somewhere where there's a flooring in, the roof is really well. So I think even if I can't like close it completely up and it can be only used in nice weather, I don't mind that much. I mean, like nice weather, I mean, if it's warm, you know, not in the winter time. But it's fine. If I can already do that, at least that's a big step forward. And I think that's what I'll need to tackle next year. in between all the crazy other projects that are artistic as well as like the small DIYs. What long-term dreams do you have for the chateau once the renovations are complete? Oh, you guys. Well, my long-term goal is to set up the barn as a studio so that I can not only be teaching yoga, but also have people here for residencies, and to use it a bit more for the festival, to establish maybe even sort of a dance company here, to bring dance into rural areas. I think that's a really big thing for me, and I want to use this. I think all these buildings, they should be shared, and they should be, yeah, I think they should be allowing other people to do work as well, to use this to make art. I would love to do that. And eventually, I mean, my ultimate dream would be to buy one day, if I can afford it, a chateau, like a full chateau. I have one in mind that I will show you right now, and it's the dream chateau. Hello, Aniti. So it's my dream chateau. It's around the corner. It's about 15 minutes from here. And yeah, it's not for sale. It's empty and it's rotting away, and it would be just the perfect DIY project. But we're talking far future, because right now I want to concentrate on this place, and I don't want to live in the future, you know? I think it's really important to live in the now, to do whatever you can in the now, and to be satisfied with what you have in the now. And I love being here. I love all the things that surround me, and at the same time I'm kind of in between, because I would like to stay here, but also at the same time I would like to have a bit more space to accommodate even more artists, and to maybe one day even run residencies all year long. And you know, all these things have to be considered, and I just don't know what the future holds. No one knows that, and we'll just see. We'll go from there, and we'll just take it one DIY at a time, and one dance project at a time, and just, yeah, just be part of this. And I'm so thankful that you guys are being part of this journey and of this whole thing, and just following me along. And it really, I think one of the things that have helped me a lot was YouTubing and vlogging all of my journey and sharing it with others, because I think that's when it becomes something truly special, when it becomes an exchange of a community where I can inspire others, where we can, yeah, exchange thoughts, ideas, inspirations, where we can thrive all together. And you know, that's what we're also trying to do in the village as well. So I think conviviality is a big part that I never thought I would actually pursue in my life. I still like my own spaces, absolutely. And that's why I'm a bit cautious about how big of residencies and stuff I want here, because it's just a space that is so closed up, you know, people are so close to me here. So we'll just have to see how it all works out and where we go, and if Aniti will roam through another chateau in the future, right? But until then, that's it for this week, for this week's video. It's the summary of all these things. Thank you so much for watching. And all that's left to say is à bientôt et au revoir. Bisous from the southwest of France, and bye!